She thinks she made the right choice. Give her 6 months, and she won't be so sure. Right now, somewhere, there's a version of you she doesn't think about anymore, or so she tells herself. But regret doesn't work on her schedule. It works on quiet nights, on empty apartments, on moments when she's scrolling through her phone and your name almost slips out of her mouth to someone who has no idea who you are. Nobody warns you about this part of walking away, that the woman who let you go doesn't actually get to control when the loss catches up with her. Here's what almost every man gets wrong the moment a relationship ends. He spends his nights building a case. He replays conversations, drafts messages he never sends, tries to find the exact words that will make her see what she threw away. He thinks the way back into her mind is through her phone. It isn't. It's through his own life. Because women don't regret losing a man who begs to be remembered. They regret losing a man who simply continued, who kept building, who didn't need her permission to become someone. Think about the last time you saw an ex thriving without you, genuinely thriving, not performing it for an audience. It didn't feel like relief. It felt like a small, cold drop in your stomach. A flicker of, wait, was I wrong? That flicker is not something you can manufacture through a text message. It's something that only grows in the space you leave behind, in the silence she has to sit in without your voice filling it for her. This is the part almost nobody explains correctly. Female psychology around loss isn't built on constant contact. It's built on absence paired with evidence. She needs the silence to create the question, and she needs your continued growth to answer it in a way that stings. Two things happening at once. Silence alone just fades a person from memory. Growth alone without distance gets swallowed by the noise of the relationship still happening. But absence plus visible transformation, that's the combination that turns, I'm glad that's over, into, what did I actually let go of? Most men skip this because it's uncomfortable. It's far easier to chase, to explain, to over-communicate your worth in a paragraph she'll read once and forget. It is much harder to simply go quiet and trust that your own life, built without her, will speak louder than anything you could type. But that discomfort is exactly why so few men ever get this right, and why the ones who do become impossible to forget. There is a version of this story where you never say another word to her again, and she still thinks about you more than she ever did while you were together. That's not manipulation. That's not a trick. That's what happens when a man stops performing for someone else's attention and starts actually living for himself. The moment you stop needing her to notice, she starts noticing everything. But here's the uncomfortable truth underneath all of this, the one most people never say out loud. None of this works if you're doing it for her. If the growth is a performance aimed at her phone, she will feel that, even from a distance. Regret isn't triggered by a man who's secretly still waiting. It's triggered by a man who genuinely stopped waiting, and that difference is something you cannot fake your way into. There's a moment most women experience after a breakup that they never admit to anyone. Not their friends, not their therapist, sometimes not even themselves. It's the moment they realize the silence isn't going to break. No text, no slip-up, no late-night you up. Just nothing. And in that nothing, something shifts. Because as long as she believed you'd eventually reach out, she could keep her story intact. The one where she made the right call and you're somewhere quietly hoping she'll come back. The moment that story stops being true, she has to build a new one. And building a new story means going back through the old one, looking for what she missed. This is where most men misunderstand female psychology completely. They think a woman processes a breakup the way they do, in a straight line, moving from hurt to acceptance to moving on. But it's rarely linear. It loops. She'll feel fine for 2 weeks, and then something as small as a song, a restaurant, a stranger who laughs like you did, will pull her right back into reevaluating the whole thing. And what she finds in that reevaluation depends entirely on what you did with your silence. If you spent it waiting, checking her socials, half hoping for a reason to reach out, she will sense it, even from far away, even without proof. People are shockingly accurate at detecting stagnant energy in someone who used to orbit them. But if you spent that silence actually rebuilding your body, your mind, your ambitions, your peace, the story she finds when she looks back isn't, "He's still hung up on me." It's, "He didn't need me to become someone. He just did it." That second story is the one that creates real regret because it removes her from the center of your growth entirely, and there is nothing more unsettling to someone who once had your full attention than realizing your evolution never actually required them. Here's something rarely spoken about directly. Women are taught to be the emotional barometer of a relationship, to track its temperature, to notice when something changes. So when a man goes quiet and stays quiet, not out of anger, not as a punishment, but as a simple byproduct of living his life, it disrupts something she's used to controlling. She's used to being able to read you. Silence without explanation is unreadable, and unreadable is uncomfortable in a way that lingers. This is also why chasing backfires so completely. Every message, every "I miss you", every attempt to explain your side hands her back the control you're trying to win. It confirms the story she needs to feel okay about her decision, that you're still there, still available, still hers to think about only when she chooses to. The version of you that unsettles her is the version she can't check on. Not because you're hiding, but because you're simply occupied, with a life that's expanding whether she's watching or not. None of this is about becoming cold or performing indifference. Genuine indifference and performed indifference feel completely different from the outside, and people can tell. This is about redirecting the energy you used to spend managing the relationship into managing your own life, your discipline, your friendships, your work, the parts of yourself you let go quiet while you were busy trying to keep someone else happy. That redirection isn't a strategy aimed at her. It's just what healthy rebuilding actually looks like. The regret is a side effect, not the goal. And that distinction matters more than anything else in this video. The men who chase a reaction usually get the opposite of what they want. The men who simply rebuild, without checking if she noticed, are the ones who end up living in someone's head rent-free. Not because they tried to, but because they stopped trying altogether. There's a specific kind of quiet that happens inside a person's head when they start missing someone they broke up with, and it rarely shows up as sadness first. It shows up as irritation. She'll be short with her friends for no reason. She'll snap at something small. She won't know why. Most people never connect that mood to the breakup because it doesn't feel like grief. It feels like static. That static is what happens when the mind is trying to process an absence it isn't ready to name yet. This matters because it explains why so many women seem fine right after a breakup and then unravel weeks or even months later. The initial period is armor. She's telling everyone, including herself, that she's relieved, that it needed to happen, that she's better off. And for a while, she might even believe it. But armor is exhausting to wear, and eventually it slips, usually in private, usually at the worst possible moment. Usually over something that has nothing to do with you on the surface, but everything to do with you underneath. Here's what almost nobody tells men going through this. Her timeline is not your timeline, and trying to sync them is a losing game. You cannot predict when the armor will slip, and you shouldn't be waiting around trying to catch that moment. The only thing you can control is what she finds when it does slip. Whether the version of you she remembers is one who fell apart waiting for her, or one who used the time to become a man even he didn't fully recognize yet. This is the part of self-improvement nobody markets correctly. It's not about getting a haircut and going to the gym so an ex notices you in a parking lot. It's about closing the gaps in your own life that the relationship was quietly covering for. Most men don't realize how much of their identity got outsourced during a relationship, how much of their routine, their confidence, their sense of purpose was borrowed from being someone's partner. When that borrowed structure disappears, there's a real temptation to go looking for a replacement immediately, whether that's a rebound, a distraction, or an obsessive attempt to win the ex back. All three are the same mistake wearing different clothes. The actual work is uncomfortable because it's boring. It's rebuilding a morning routine that doesn't depend on anyone else's schedule. It's sitting with your own thoughts without needing a conversation to drown them out. It's remembering what you were interested in before the relationship reorganized your priorities around someone else's needs. None of this is glamorous. None of it will make a highlight reel. But this is exactly the kind of change that's impossible to fake and impossible to hide. The kind that other people can feel in your presence before they can explain why. And this is precisely why it creates regret in a way nothing else can. She's not going to regret losing a man who got a new haircut. She's going to feel something shift when she notices, through a mutual friend, through a passing interaction, through nothing more than the way you carry yourself if your paths ever cross again. that you are simply more settled than you used to be. Steadier, less reactive, less available for chaos. People don't forget the feeling of being around someone who has quietly leveled up. It sits with them in a way words never do. The mistake most men make here is impatience. They do the work for 2 weeks, don't see an immediate reaction, and go right back to old patterns, checking her profile, drafting messages, waiting for a sign. Real transformation doesn't work on a 2-week clock. It compounds slowly in ways you barely notice in yourself until one day you realize you haven't thought about her all week. And that shift, more than anything you could ever say to her directly, is the thing that eventually finds its way back to her. There's a question worth sitting with for a second. If she reached out tomorrow, what would she actually be reaching out to? Would she find the same man she left? Reachable, available, still shaped around the relationship that ended? Or would she find someone who moved on so completely that her message would almost feel like it arrived at the wrong address? That question is uncomfortable on purpose, because most men, if they're honest, know exactly which version they currently are. This is the part of the process where a lot of men quietly sabotage themselves without realizing it. They do a few weeks of real work, the gym, the discipline, the silence, and then they start performing recovery instead of actually living it. Posting the gym pictures for an audience of one, getting visibly better only in the places she might see. That's not transformation. That's theatre with a hidden audience. And on some level, everyone around you can tell the difference between a man who's building for himself and a man who's building for an ex-girlfriend's algorithm. Real change is almost boring to witness from the outside because it isn't loud. It's a man who starts going to bed at a decent hour because he wants to function well the next day, not because someone's watching. It's someone who finally finishes the certification he kept putting off, who repairs a friendship he let go quiet, who gets his finances in order, not for an audience, but because avoiding it stopped feeling acceptable. This kind of change doesn't need witnesses to be real, and ironically, that's exactly what makes it powerful when someone does eventually witness it. Here's the psychological piece that ties this together. Humans assign more weight to things they can't fully access. When you were available, explaining yourself, trying to be understood, she had full access to your inner world, and full access reduces mystery. Mystery is not about being secretive or playing games. It's the natural result of a person who's genuinely occupied with their own life and isn't performing their availability for anyone. When you stop narrating your feelings to her, and instead simply become someone whose life is clearly moving forward without needing her commentary, you become harder to fully read. And what people can't fully read, they can't fully stop thinking about. This is also where a lot of men get impatient and undo months of progress in one weak moment. A late-night message, a comment left just to see if she notices, a like on an old photo meant to send a signal. Every one of those actions resets the clock. It hands back the exact thing that was making you compelling in the first place. Your absence, and the mystery inside it. 1 weak moment can undo 8 weeks of real work, not because she's keeping score, but because it confirms the story she was starting to doubt, that you're still waiting, still available, still hers to think about only when convenient for her. The men who actually get to the other side of this, who become genuinely unbothered, genuinely rebuilt, are the ones who treat the process as permanent. Not as a phase with an expiration date tied to her noticing. They stop checking. They stop calculating. At some point, thinking about her simply stops being a daily event, not because they forced themselves to forget, but because their life became full enough that there wasn't room left for the old ache to live comfortably. And that is the real marker of this whole transformation. Not the moment she notices you've changed, but the moment you realize you no longer need her to. Here's the truth. Almost nobody says plainly enough. This entire process was never actually about her. It only sounds like it's about her because the pain that started it was about her. But somewhere in the middle of the silence, the rebuilding, the discomfort of sitting with yourself instead of chasing a distraction, the goal quietly shifted. It stopped being about making someone regret losing you and started being about making sure you never have to live beneath your own potential again, for her or for anyone who comes after her. That shift is the actual finish line. Not a text message, not a moment of eye contact across a room, not some cinematic scene where she finally realizes what she lost. Real life rarely hands you that scene, and building your entire recovery around waiting for it is a quiet way of staying stuck. The men who heal completely are the ones who stop needing the closure scene altogether, because they already gave themselves the only closure that ever actually mattered, becoming someone they respect. If she does come back, and sometimes she does, she should be meeting a man who's genuinely different, not a man who's been standing still, rehearsing what he'd say if she ever did. And if she doesn't come back, that man is still better off than the one who spent months waiting for a message that was never coming. Either outcome works in your favor, and that's the entire point. When your growth doesn't depend on her response, you stop being at the mercy of her timeline. This is also where self-respect quietly rewires how you show up in every relationship after this one. You stop over-explaining yourself to people who haven't earned the explanation. You stop chasing reassurance from someone who hasn't shown they deserve your peace of mind. You start recognizing, much earlier than before, when you're shrinking yourself to keep someone comfortable, and you stop doing it. That awareness doesn't come from a breakup itself. It comes from what you build in the aftermath of one when nobody is watching and there's no guarantee it will ever be noticed. So if you take one thing from everything said here, let it be this. Stop trying to make someone regret losing you and start living in a way that makes regret irrelevant to your peace. Build the version of yourself that doesn't need her memory of you to be good because it already is good on its own terms, without her permission. That's not coldness, that's not revenge. That's just what it looks like when a man finally stops outsourcing his worth to someone who's no longer in the room. Now here's something I want you to actually sit with before you go. Think back to your last relationship, not the ending, but the months before it. Were you becoming more of yourself in that relationship or less? Be honest with yourself, because most people don't realize which one it was until months after it's over. Type your answer in the comments, more or less. And if you're being fully honest, explain why in a sentence or two. I read every single one. If this video said something you needed to hear today, hit like before you go. It helps this message reach the next man who needs it. Subscribe if you want more of this kind of clarity in your feed. And if there's someone in your life right now who's stuck replaying a breakup on a loop, send them this video. Sometimes the most caring thing you can do for someone is show them the way out of their own head.